And then this turns into one other question about, hence the title, right? How do you turn a temp freelance job into a career? I mean, you could be a career freelancer, but, again, you don't work the traditional 9 to 5, which is what you enjoy. But maybe one day, and I know we've talked about this in the past, who's to say that you can't take all the work that you've done, apply to a full-time job at the New York Times, and get in and work there full-time later?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, right now, the work that I do for Ultimate Classic Rock, that came about because I was, several months ago, I was just kind of like an on-call freelancer, so to speak. And I did the job well enough and I hit all my deadlines and I did everything that they were asking me to do and went a little bit above and beyond, that they eventually asked me, like, do you want some real hours here? Like, do you want extra hours? Do you want to do some new shifts? And had them, approach me and ask about me taking on more responsibility. But you're completely correct. I mean, I see job openings all the time, and I've put in job applications from time to time because I do have that flexibility to potentially do it. And if I get an interview out of it, I mean, great. If not, I have other stuff going on too. But that flexibility is always there, and I really like that. I realize, of course, that the flip side of that coin is that you do constantly have to hustle for your next gig, your next project, and you're constantly, the gears are always going like this, and that can be really frustrating and a little bit unsettling, especially during the last year and a half, for sure. But it's a trade-off. I think it's worth it, at least for now.
Good. No, that's really good, and that's good for you to know, and that's good for you to understand that you understand it, you've thought it through, and the same thing with other students as well. Like, this is what you have to accept. These are the realities of it, but there are opportunities that could be there for you in the future. Do you have any final advice for students who are interested in pursuing freelance work? I mean, it could be anything. Like, what could they be doing right now to kind of prepare themselves for that work, that mode of work?
Yeah. I think the one thing, I mean, there's several things that I would say. One is definitely, like, whatever topic you want to get involved in, try to get as deeply involved, like, in the people who are already doing that work as you can. Read a lot. Whatever people are writing about the topic that you want to write about, read all of those people, read their articles, read what they're doing. You can learn a ton that way. Another thing is, if you ever stumble across someone's writing or a piece of work that you really like, that resonates with you, and you think that was really good, I really like that, don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody and just send them an email, send them a note, find their Twitter, like, DM them. I know that sounds kind of creepy, but it's always, I really like when people do that for me, and you get a nice note from somebody and that says, this piece of work resonated with me and I liked this about it. And that's also how I've made a lot of my contacts, by, reaching out to people that way and just saying, like, hey, I really liked this piece. That's another thing. And then lastly, this is a piece of advice that people have given me, and it's that you should never, be afraid or ashamed to take on other work that isn't directly freelance writing. I've done so many different things, like, that are not strictly writing, that have helped me, keep the lights on and keep doing what I really love to do. I've waited tables, I've done copywriting, I've done social media, I've worked nonprofit gigs, I transcribe interviews for other people. I do a lot of work that is not strictly, what ends up appearing on my own byline. But it is what helps me keep things going, and it means that I still get to do what I love to do. And that doesn't make, you any less of a real freelancer if you're doing other work too. So that's another thing I would say.
Yeah, and to kind of, because I've known you for a couple of years, I know that you did an internship with a documentary filmmaker.
I did. I was an intern with Ken Burns a couple summers ago, which obviously is like, that's not music writing, of course, but I learned a lot about, I did a lot of really in-depth research when I was there. I used microfiche. I was, like, in the literal basements of New York Public Library, like, doing the nitty gritty work. But I carry those skills over into everything that I do, and I am a really meticulous researcher now because of it. I know where to look for things. And all of those different skills that you end up doing in those different jobs that are not necessarily exactly writing, they carry over all the time.
Yeah, so the researching part, the social media, which you helped us with, which was great, the copywriting, proofreading, script reader, script writer. I mean, there's so many things that you can kind of do from that. And yeah, again, this goes back to the transferable skills and what you can kind of gain from it.